Hi, welcome to Prep for Chicks After Dark. It is Tuesday, January the 21st, and we're having all kinds of just problems tonight. But we've got some new people here, hoping we can get them online. But it should make for an interesting night. So let's see who's all actually with us tonight. Just here in a moment, we are going to play, if anybody's new with us, besides those of us on the show. We're going to play a round of Conflicted or two. We have a trivia question in the middle. And what Conflicted is, it's a deck of cards, 52 cards in the deck, and it has scenarios that are built into the cards. And what we do is we answer some scenarios out there. So we might have to do some work here to get everybody on board, but eventually we will get it because we're just like that. So let's see who we have. Chris, are you back with us tonight?
Yeah.
Awesome. Glad to see we got you with us. So why don't you tell everybody who you are?
All right. Chris with the book series Apocalyptic Empire series. You can find me on aeseries.com. My books are about surviving the apocalypse, rebuilding, and starting over. Throw my links in there and go from there.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us once again. And Alika, are you here with us tonight?
Yes, I am.
And where are you from and what are you doing?
I rep www.shtfready.com. It's a prepping website, a prepping forum. We are a tight-knit community. We show us in how to just prep and learn and prepare. We keep the politics out and we focus on banging all aspects surrounding it. We all heard of the ant and the grasshopper story. Our website teaches you to be the ant.
Awesome. Thank you for once again being here with us tonight. With us tonight back is JD. JD is one of the creators of the game for Survival Logics, the game Conflicted. JD, welcome. Hello, how are you?
Doing good. Thanks for having me back, Laura. Good to be here with you guys.
Oh, good. I can breathe now. I wasn't sure if we got you.
I'm here.
So why don't you tell everybody about the game?
Folks, it's great to be here with you all. The game's called Conflicted. Basically, there's about 52 scenarios that we're all probably going to face after there's no rule of law, after there's no modern society. These scenarios are going to put your will to live versus your own morals. And the goal of it is for you to play with your friends and see if you all draw the line at a similar level. So today, we're going to have a couple different questions. And I hope you all enjoy. Maybe if we have time, we'll go do a question of the new deck that's coming out in about 9 days, January 30th. You can buy the first deck that's been out for a few months now, Conflicted Game / Prepper Chicks. And the new game is coming out, like I said, in just about a week.
Awesome.
Cool.
Now you have a special guest with you on your end tonight. Would you like to introduce him?
Yes, this is my business partner, Mark, and after much brainwashing, I finally got him to join us today. Mark, say hello to the crowd.
Hello, everyone. Glad to be here.
Awesome. Thanks you for being here. Now, Mark, how did you get involved with JD and the cards?
JD and I have been friends forever, and actually, when the game first started, it was written on little slips of paper, and we played the game together as a group at a barbecue, and we just had a good time with it. And JD is a question writing maniac. He just kept writing them, and he made a prototype, and he showed it to me, and I said, hey, we should team up and take this thing big. So that's kind of the long and short of it.
Gotcha. Now, did he get you involved in preparedness, survivalists, and all that kind of stuff, or were you involved in that before you met him?
I'm more of a how do I put it? I'm not a super prepper, but I'm pretty good, and I think we're both equivalent in the areas of prepping. Yeah, I kind of got him into shooting a little bit, and he got me up to speed in a few other areas of preparedness. So we're a pretty good team. We balance each other out.
Awesome. Nice to hear. It's always good to hear that there are other people out there that are prepared. So welcome to the show. It's nice to have
Thank
you here. We are waiting for our other special guest, Mom with a Prep, to possibly call in. She was having some issues with her Skype earlier. So if she calls in, we'll get her joined in. But why don't we go ahead and get the game started? Because halfway through, we have a special treat for everyone. So again, get your Google fingers ready because I know you guys are hot and mad after the prizes that we give away. So welcome everyone in the chat room tonight. Great to have you guys all here. We have a full house again tonight. Always love to see that. Special shout out to UCY.TV and Jules and all the awesome work that she does with the radio station. Appreciate her greatly and all of her hard work. So with that being said, let's get rolling. So the first question that we're going to have is off of the new deck coming out on January 30th. So, JD, you or Mark want to let us know what that is?
Sure. This is one of the scenarios that's coming out of the new deck. And kind of lengthy, but everybody pay attention. So, here you go. Reports of an outbreak of an airborne version of the HIV virus has suddenly surfaced at a city 300 miles from you. This news is 2 days old, and no treatments or cures are available at this time. The mainstream media tries to muffle the case. The alternative media is reporting a major disaster with dozens of deaths already. So the reports from the two different outlets are extremely conflicting. How do you go about investigating this further until you make a firm decision to bug out or stay put? So you're in a tough situation. You know, the mainstream media is trying to say it's no big deal. The alternative media is saying, this is it, folks, leave. And you're seeing those two outlets, and how far on both ways do you need to go to make a firm decision? And how do you kind of get there? Let's start with Chris. Chris, this happened to you. How would you go about making a decision, and how would you go about researching all this?
Well, I mean, the first place for me is always the internet because it's really hard for the mainstream media to cover up the internet. So my first thing is going to be, troll the internet as much as I can, find out as much as I can from, forums and, off the grid kind of places that aren't going to be, covered up and thrown under the rug by, Fox and CNN and whatnot. So that would be my first thing, is just troll the internet, see what I could find, see if, there's people at, ground zero, whatever you want to call it, that are actually boots on the ground that are seeing this happen. And then kind of go from there, honestly. So, and then it is a two-part thing, and then decide what do I do after I found out, or just find out.
Yeah, like how far, on one end or the other would you have, would things have to go to convince you to either bug out or stay put?
Well, I mean, for me, it's got to be seeing the writing on the wall that, it's coming for me kind of thing. Being that I live a little bit further away from civilization, I can wait a little bit longer than most people can just because, I'm 70 miles from an epicenter kind of thing. So, it's going to take a little bit longer for it to physically impact me. But I mean, I drive to Phoenix every day. So, to go to work. So I would see it pretty dang quick, and that would be my writing on the wall that, it's time to pack up and head north.
Cool. How about you, Laurie? How would you go about researching this event and until you were comfortable to make a decision one way or the other?
Well, I'm going to check real fast here and make sure. Mom, did you get into the show by chance?
I think I'm here. Can you hear me?
Oh, yes, you did.
Hey.
Awesome. Okay, we're going to back up and pause for just a moment. And I apologize for the technical difficulties today. But Mom, welcome back to the show. It's awesome to have you here. Why don't you tell everybody who you are and what your connections, websites, that kind of thing.
Hey, I'm Jane. I'm Mom with the Prep. I am at momwiththeprep.com. I focus on family preparedness and teaching our kids how to be prepared. I'm on Facebook at Mom with a Prep, and everywhere. That's where I am.
Thank you. Thank you for being here.
Thanks. Sorry about that.
No, you're
Hey,
fine.
Jane, welcome.
Hey, JD.
Did
All good.
you got to hear the question?
I've got the gist of the question. I didn't get to hear it all.
Okay, it's basically kind of like what we're seeing right now on the news with the flu virus going around. We're seeing outbreaks, and JD's question was there was an outbreak. I think it was an airborne HIV, if I'm not
Yes.
mistaken. It's
A
going
new
around.
version.
A new
A
version.
new version.
So when do you stay? When do you go? How do you make the decision?
Okay, awesome.
I would definitely, I have a plethora of medical books here. My family is hopped up on all kinds of natural herbs. Knock on wood, we have not gotten the flu. Nobody's even come close to it. I do know that in our lifetime that, I have learned that cutting out certain foods that seem like everyday foods to people out there, such as white sugar, white bread, things like that out of your diet, make it a lot harder for these viruses to attack your immune system. I definitely, if you haven't already done that, please look into it. Since we've done that in our family, we hardly ever get sick. Sinus issues might be the only thing that we're going through. But definitely hop on the internet, as Chris said. Mainstream media can do their darndest to cover up as much as they want to, but thanks to the internet and being able to be networked with specific people, the truth will get out there. And if you have not built a proper network, you need to do so. There is such a thing as sheltering in place, depending on where you are. There are procedures that you can take in order to do that, covering up ventilation, things like that. But definitely look into what causes the virus and what you can do in order to protect yourself. Do I think you need to run? That's going to depend. It's going to depend on the breakdown of the disease itself. I know a lot of people are getting concerned about the flu going around and the different strains and all of the people that are, in fact, dying from it. But I think that if you get yourself healthy now, you stand a damn better chance of surviving anything than if you waited until it happened.
I see. And Alika, how about you? How far into the information would you have to dive in order to make a firm decision one way or another? Because you don't want to bug out and leave your life behind over a false alarm, but you don't want to stick around until it's too late either.
Well,
So,
I would be monitoring the news outlets, mainstream as well as the off the grid internet stuff. But with all news tidbits, I always take it with a grain of salt. There may or may not be some truth behind it, but my thing would be local recon. I mean, I would have my scanner on 24/7, listening to police, ambulance calls. Guarantee if some kind of outbreak happened, nobody would know what it would be for the first 24 hours. You would hear 911 calls to the ambulance asking for assistance and whatnot, and see if I could get in friendly with the hospitals and with a nurse or a doctor or whatever to give me the updates on, is there an uptick in new patient admittance with the HIV super virus symptoms showing up? And if it becomes way too much and I believe that it might pose a danger to my household, I would take off.
Well, here's a curveball for you. Lyd in the chat room said several surrounding communities might not allow you to even pass through them if you wait too long.
Well, there's always a way out. That's, again, knowing a whole bunch of egress routes. Not everybody can, no matter how well the community thinks they have a lockdown on their neighborhood, there's always a way in and out of their areas, even under the cover of night.
Nice. How about you, Jane? How would you go about digesting all this information? What clues would you be looking at in order to like bug out, for example? What would
Gosh,
convince you to go?
this is actually probably my weakest area of knowledge and preparedness at all for us is a pandemic exercise. I think because I would start looking at when the hospital was beginning to be overcrowded, knowing that they were overrun by whatever this was, would be the point that we would probably at that point be hunkering down. We would be the family who walked around with a face mask on when everybody else would say, you know, you're just weird for doing that. There's nothing wrong. I'd be on the internet a lot trying to figure out what it was, where it was coming from, what we could do about it. I'm not so sure about a bug out because I'm not sure where we'd go. So I don't have a good answer about what we do because this is where I don't know.
I see. It'd be kind of hard to just be convinced, I think, just by looking at stuff over the internet. I'm going to throw Mark here into the fire and ask him how far into your research, what kind of clues would you be looking at? What would have to happen to convince you to just go or to just say, you know what, this is a bunch of baloney, I'll stay?
I would probably bug in, but I would limit my exposure to being outside or around other people. I'd probably just stay home for a few weeks and with my family. The HIV virus is temperature sensitive, so the question is kind of interesting. I think it's just more of a general scenario as far as a virus, but yeah, it'd be interesting to see how it would kind of manifest itself and change. Not so much change or convert, or I don't know, just how easy it is to pass, and most of the time the HIV virus, it takes such a long time to even show up in people's systems, so it'd be kind of hard to make a prediction. So really interesting question though.
Well, what happens, I mean, most of us answered with research on the internet. I know I've got a pretty extensive medical library built up, but not probably to the in-depth part that it needs to be. But what happens if you don't have the internet to research on?
Scream and run around and panic.
Scream and run around.
I'm more worried about not having the internet and not being able to find out about the virus on the internet.
But I think people, when, one of the things they need to definitely research is, if you do not have the internet and there is something going around and you've chosen not to leave the area while you still can, they need to educate themselves on bugging in properly, being able to cover and filter their filtration, their air filtration systems, what access that they allow people into, their food that they're getting. What's a good reason to have food preps is you don't have to leave your property or your house. How would you deal with someone coming to your door? Let's say, this virus is going on. Let's say your sister comes to the door with the virus. What would you do?
You can just say, hey, go around the shed. You can stay there.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know who... Because the scenario says it's 300 miles away. I want to know who would put a mask on and drive to the area and take a look around and see really what's going on.
A Leaker would. He'd be like, let me get on my motorcycle or something.
Well,
it's not me, because I'll pull the kids' card. I've got kids. I can't do that.
Yeah, Salty brings up a good point, and something that a lot of people don't think about unless they have one. Yes. Anytime there's a downgrade situation, where phones and everything go out, those ham operator guys are all over it. They have saved more lives than you can count, but they get the word out. And a lot of our emergency responders rely upon them in order to get information passed from here to there.
It's like 2 Dixie cups and a string. When you should do that.
A little bit more advanced now that
Oh.
we've hit that 2000 mark.
Gotcha. Okay.
You know, I tell you my answer. If it was a serious thing, because usually with the alternative media, something blows up for like 2 days, then it dies down. Then something else new blows up. So if, 3, 4, 5 days, if the news are getting progressively worse, I'll probably try to take a drive up there, prepare myself, and go as close as I can until I see with my own eyes, because you're talking about bugging out, leaving your life behind, even if it's temporarily. But if you have a job, it's not going to be back. You're going to abandon your job. If you have a business, you're going to have to abandon that. If you have a house, you lock it up as best you can, but
So you're going to drive all the way there, get the zombie virus, bring it back to your home, and then spread it in your home community?
hey, if you're well prepared, with the mask plus whatever,
So just
You
making
can go
sure
up
that
there.
you're the guy that spreads it. Okay.
can you see me in one of those yellow suits with the mask driving?
Yeah. Yeah. It's like
Start
a Breaking
with
Bad
him
thing.
Patient
and he's
Zero
cruising
by
down.
2.
Yeah, right?
Well, that would be hard. I mean, if, it'd be different, if your sister shows up at the door, though, sick, and you don't have kids versus how you would react, like Mom said, if you do have kids in the house. So, Mom, if you did not have kids, would you try and help your sister?
No.
You still would turn her away?
Probably.
you're rough.
Only because,
I was never close with her.
Well, what if there's a
kick her to the
50-50 chance that they could recover from this?
I think for me it would be an issue that if I'm using my family for real, my family wouldn't show up. My family would know to stay away. So,
Really?
yeah, my family would not show up. We're far enough away from each other that wouldn't be an easy trip anyway. But, we wouldn't show up to each other's doorstep at that point. But if we took the scenario, if somebody did show up that was family, I think it might be an alternative. You can stay in my garage.
You would
I-
quarantine them. You would allow them on your property. You would feed them and all that, but keep them quarantined?
I don't know. I think I would probably say you can stay in the garage. We'll hold it up and you deal with whatever you have to deal with, and we'll be able to feed you a little bit, but we won't.
Through the doggy door.
Yeah, through the doggy door.
Okay, here's another curveball. What if you were the one sick and you were the only one left in your family, but you knew where your sister lived and you were very close? Would you go, being sick, to a family member's house?
And hope she feeds you through the doggy door.
No, I would not.
There's a lot of people that will.
Here's the other thing. Nobody ever said, does this virus, it kills you, right? What is the time frame on this thing?
Well, I questioned that
That's the
earlier.
thing. It's an HIV virus, so it doesn't kill you for a while, but at the same time, the alternative media is saying that there are a bunch of deaths.
Yeah, but
So
is
you
this
have to,
virus going to be a Magic Johnson virus where you have it and you're alive forever, or what?
Well, that was
It's a
what
new
I'm saying.
version.
If you're
It's a
going to
new
be
version of
alive
the
for
virus.
20 years after that, who gives a crap? If you're going to be alive for 2 days, then yeah, you want to shoot every person coming towards your door, whether they're infected or not,
Yeah, well, you got the point of the scenario is that you gotta dig in and do your research.
Yeah, see, now we're
how do you
curveballing
go
too
about?
much.
Well, even digging and doing the research, people need to get physically fit now and be in the best health now before this stuff happens. Get off the refined
Maybe
sugars.
last 3 days. 3 days instead of 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's that third day that really matters.
Hey, I want to bring something up. Salt Lake City Mike talked about the Yellowstone volcano. It's a scary thing. If you really look into it and do research, it's scary. but then you kind of don't worry about it.
Going about natural disasters and monetary values. Okay.
No, because really, if the Yellowstone volcano were to happen, you're looking at it wouldn't be the scenario you're looking at here is pretty much like The Road. You know, you've all seen that movie, The Road.
Yeah.
That's what you're looking at.
Well, for a lot of people, it wouldn't matter.
Yeah. A lot of people are all dead anyway, so it doesn't matter. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I think those are good answers so far for the research.
Well,
so should we add a doggy door to all of our preps now, just in case?
I'm not.
Just in case.
My sister wouldn't fit through a dog door, so I'm not even going to bother. But
Sealed up.
yeah, it is almost halfway done for tonight. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a round of everyone introduce themselves again and drop your links into the chat room so everybody knows where to find you. Right after that, we're going to do the trivia question. So you guys in the chat room, listen up. As soon as the introductions are done, we have a trivia question, and the prize tonight is a deck from the second run of the Conflicted card game. So coming up shortly, a new deck will come out, and you will win a deck tonight by answering the trivia question. So let's go back through. We have tonight with us Alika.
I rep the Prepper Forum, www.shtfready.com. We are a prepping survivalist website that shares ideas, and we help each other learn and prepare. We keep the tinfoil hat people out, and we focus on prepping and all aspects surrounding it. Our website teaches you to be the ant, not the grasshopper.
Awesome, thank you.
He
Chris.
sends all the tinfoil hat people here to this radio show.
Yeah.
We like it.
Okay, so okay, I gotta say it. Me and him were just texting about the tinfoil hat, and I said, effing JD, and we said, haha.
Chris, why don't you let everybody know?
Sorry, yeah, I got
Our
sidetracked. I distracted myself. Alright, so Chris with Apocalyptic Empire series, aeseries.com is my link. You can find all my books there and any information about my third book if I put some on there. And we'll go from there.
Awesome. Mom.
I'm at momwiththeprep.com, focusing on family preparedness. So
Awesome. Thank you so much. And JD?
JD with Survival Logics. We publish Conflicted, the survival card game. And that wasn't a dog. That was my daughter, by the way. So you can find the game at conflictedthegame.com. And we have a deck that's been out for a few months, and we have a second deck coming out with new scenarios and scenarios from the community, if I may add.
Oh, yes, because people could submit questions for your card game, correct?
Yep. And we have some really good ones, really, really good ones. Because, every prepper has a different life story, different experiences. They kind of see life from a different point of view.
Definitely.
So they have kind of different things they're worried about. And so we have some really cool scenarios from other people as well.
Now, is the new deck coming out? Does it have a theme to it? I know you were throwing that around there. Is it just kind of open?
No, the theme... There's no theme. It's just the same kind of along the same lines of the first Conflicted deck.
Awesome.
We have another surprise that we're not ready to talk about yet for our deck after this one.
So you're going to tease us a little bit, huh?
Of course.
Awesome. And you have with you tonight your special guest and partner in crime, Mark. Welcome to the show.
Mark is keeping my kids at bay right now. Yeah. So he says hello.
Failing to keep his kids at bay.
I heard a noise. Yeah. Get the duct tape back over.
Yeah. Tape them down. Shackle them.
All right. Chat room, listen up.
Trying to control my kids.
Chat room, listen up. Here's your trivia question. We've said it a couple times now. What date does deck number 2 come out for Conflicted the card game? We need the date that the new deck arrives out for everyone. So the first one in the chat room to name the date that the new deck comes out wins a new deck. And I know some of us have posted it up on our Facebook pages earlier, and we've mentioned it quite a few times here tonight on purpose. So first one in the chat room that gets it, get your fingers. Oh.
Well, the website blew up right now. People are landing there to check it out.
It is quiet in there. Yes, it is. Pickles and candlesticks. No, that's not it. Salty Dog. No, you missed it by one day. Pause to Ink gets it, correct?
Let's see. Where is Pause?
Right.
Yes.
Pause, you win the deck of cards. Sorry, Salty, you almost had it. It is January the 30th. January the 30th is the date the new deck comes out. So nice job, Pause. Nice job, Pause. Now, JD, how would Pause get his deck or their deck of cards?
Contact Lori and send her your information.
You can contact
we'll send
me.
It to you.
Contact me on Facebook or send me an email at prepperchicks@yahoo.com, and I'll make sure you get those.
And by the way, guys, I just pasted on the chat room the link for our Facebook page. And if you go there and share our status where we have the picture of the new deck, you're going to enter to win a new deck. And only 13 people have shared. And we're giving away more than one deck, so it's pretty easy. You can help us get the word out about the game, and you can save some money by sharing our status with the new deck in there.
Yeah, you have a nice picture of the new deck up. It looks sweet, and you've got a scenario that's on that deck for people to share and start talking about it. So definitely something to have in your prepper arsenal.
Yeah, because that question...
Donna.
A little disturbing.
Yeah, Pause is Donna.
Happen.
I know Donna, so I know who she is. I'll get you her information. Hi, Donna. Nice to see you here tonight.
Hey, Donna.
It's rigged.
It is so rigged.
Cheats.
Anyhow, let's get rolling here because we have 25 minutes left. Oh my goodness, I can't talk today. So, do we have a new scenario that we can throw out?
Yeah, I think
who has a card like me?
Oh, we're not doing a written one? Okay, JD comes and changes everything. Never mind.
Do you want to do one of yours, Chris?
Yeah, that's what we're doing. All right. So you ready? So this one is going to be more about survival, really, than prepping. So I'm going to throw it out to Alika first, but all right, so the scenario is you're traveling through the desert in an attempt to get to a better location after the shit's hit the fan. So whatever that scenario is in your brain, you're trying to get from point A to point B and you have to travel through a desert, right? Due to lack of maintenance on your vehicle, it can't keep up with the desert heat. The radiator blows and leaves you stranded on the side of the highway in the middle of the desert. There's no towns for hundreds of miles in either direction, and the summer heat is unbearable. So how do you begin to survive it? What tools or skills would you need? And ultimately, how do you prepare for the journey so you don't land in this scenario? And I'm going to throw it to Alika first since he's our survival man.
Well, if I knew I was traveling through the desert like that, I would make sure that my pack had a good tarp. That's the first thing. Shelter would be important in the desert. And, frankly, I would just travel at night. Daytime would expend way too much calories and, make me sweat, way too much. And I want to conserve every drop of water. But ultimately, the biggest thing is if you know you're going through a desert and traveling long distance, you want to do preventative maintenance on your vehicle before you start traveling.
Okay. Even though you had to get in the car and you drive like right now, and you don't have the preventative maintenance. So what do? Like your car blows up in the middle. You just start hiking, even though it's 100 miles through the desert. Is that what you're saying?
Well, yeah, I mean, if I'm stuck at the point of no return, I would just, if it's during the middle of the day, I would wait it out near the car, try to stay in the shade, and then just travel as much as I could with my passengers at night.
Okay.
But
All right.
as far as pack wise, I would try and carry as much water as I could, but I would have alternative ways to try and make water. While I'm resting during the day, I would try and do solar still. Am I saying that right? Still. Yeah, thank you. To get as much water as I could from the heat, and just trying to, and then at night, try to jury rig something up to just collect dew while I'm walking, if that's possible.
Fair enough. What about JD and Mark? What do you guys into? You live in California. There's some deserts.
So, basically the car blows out, and you're in the middle of the desert, and you have limited water. How you make it home?
How do you make it home, or how do you make it to your destination? Because you're traveling through the desert to get to the grass on the greener side, or whatever.
I'm gonna let Mark tackle this one first, because he's a car guy. Maybe there's a way to milk the car for as much water as possible before you go.
Distracted from the gas.
Don't drink the green stuff.
Exactly.
No, but your washer fluid, if you're
or
not
eat yellow snow, right?
Oh.
I think it's kind of like being lost in the forest. You find a river and you follow it to civilization. I think if I broke down on the road, I would just wait for that busload of cheerleaders to pick me up as they're passing through, and probably
I take it
travel with
lives-
them to the next destination.
I take it Mark lives in an alternative universe than the rest of us.
Yes.
Swedish bikini team was my second choice, but
There you go.
Yeah, it's the Swedish bikini team in the middle of the Arizona desert.
There you go.
It can happen.
It can happen.
That's what you get.
Yeah.
Drink fluid.
Yeah.
I think where you're going with this, Chris, is having something in your car and having kind of a get home bag. It's a little bit different than a bug out bag. It's something you keep in your car, and maybe you have some extra water, extra food, things like that. So, but more than likely, I'd probably stay with my vehicle and hitchhike in. If it's 100 miles, most of the time, if I'd be off-road, I'd be traveling with a friend, and we would just take the vehicle that works. I'm pretty mechanical. I can fix a lot of stuff. I take tools with me if I'm using an older vehicle, but I like what Alika said about preventive maintenance. What is it? An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So just make sure your stuff's in good condition. So,
Fair enough.
am I hopping out, or are we good with this?
No, I think we're good with that. What should we do? Lori or Jane?
Oh, our guest should go first.
There you go. Okay. All right.
Well, I'm not going to pull a Bear Grylls and start saying I'm going to start drinking my pee immediately.
I was waiting. I was waiting for somebody to say, "I'm going to drink my pee." I was waiting.
But I would. I mean, if we were talking about no chance of pickup.
No chance of cheerleaders or Swedish.
Well,
people.
I don't think I really care about the cheerleaders.
Oh, okay.
One of the first things I do, because I know my car, I would go for the windshield water reserve, because we don't use any kind of additive to it. So I know that at least that's about a gallon of water that I would try to collect. And I think, like Alika, if I'd be hoofing it at night, taking a few precautions, trying to get some kind of water in the middle of the night when I'm out, and in the morning when the dew hits. Otherwise, I don't think I'd lay down and die with a car, so I'd make a go of it.
Okay, you guys say hoof it at night. Are you talking like we're going to take flashlights and lanterns and tromp off to the desert? Or are you talking like I'm going to follow the stars and the moon and like what do you think hoof it at night? Like,
well, I wouldn't be trying to walk in the daytime. It would be at night.
Well, yeah, I get that,
by
but
the
I
stars.
mean, you're hoping
I have that
it's
knowledge
bright
to do it
enough?
by the stars, but hopefully I've got a couple of flashlights that would help too.
Yeah, I was thinking that was kind of a prerequisite, but Alika's badass, so he doesn't need that.
Oh, you could just walk on the road at night.
Well, that's true.
Well, this was
Until the cheerleader bus hits you.
Because we all know cheerleaders suck at driving.
Yeah.
Good times. All right, Lori, what are you doing? Cheerleader bus aside.
Oh, well, geez. You know what? I don't think I've ever really been to the desert, per se.
So you have no idea, basically, is what you're saying.
Well, no, because I stayed at a Holiday Inn Express.
You've seen on Bear Grylls where he drank his pee. That is not
I did see that. I did see that. That and the other couple that are on there too. You made me drink your pee. But, yeah. I would have to agree I'd move at night, more so than during the day. Stay on the road. If it's a road well traveled, I'd probably just stick around and hitchhike out of there. But we do keep preps in our vehicles, at all times with a trolley. But I wonder if, say you didn't have a trolley, you're not going to be able to carry enough water to survive 100 miles with you. It's too heavy. It's 8 pounds per gallon.
Mm-hmm.
So that isn't going to happen. So you need to have, if you do have that much water with you, you need to have a way to carry it, which would involve, could you take a tire off your car and fashion some kind of little wagon, to help you get your supplies out of there? It's a possibility. You also need to make sure that, you stay covered up. If you are out during the day, you're under cover while you're resting. You don't want to be out in the sun. That's going to just, pretty much kill you. I've also understand that, when you're in heat like that, yes, you should drink, but try not to eat as much as you think you would need, because when you do eat, it makes you thirsty because of the salt intake and all of that, with it. So minimize the food. The hunger pains will keep you alive. I would also make sure that before I left some kind of note on the car in which direction I went, in case somebody did try to rescue me. They would know which direction I was going to go.
Tell the cheerleaders where to go.
Yeah. Give them directions. Yes.
That's funny.
But I definitely think, I would probably be out of my element in the desert because that's not what I'm used to. We don't have those out in Indiana. Anywhere that I am aware of. Not lately anyways. Even with the drought that we were going on with. But, definitely, if you're going to be able to carry enough water, you don't want to gulp it down. You want to take it in regular intervals, to help your body process this. If not, you're just going to end up puking it all back up anyways. And then always take the vodka, if all else fails.
And you're 45 and just end it right there, just can't take it anymore kind of thing.
Yeah, Desert Hawk, Brett mentioned, you could cut the seatbelts off, make a rucksack to be able to carry, the water with, things like that. I would say look at, spare tire or whatever on your car. I'm sure you can fashion something together. If you have that much water with you, definitely take it with you as best you can.
Awesome. Wow. Those are good answers.
What nobody I forgot to mention and nobody else mentioned, the crucial item in your bug out or your get home bag is a piece of warm clothing for night travel. It can get 100+ degrees during the day, but when it drops down to 50, 40, you're thinking you're in negative 20-degree weather. And you can freeze your butt off.
Especially if you got a sunburn on top of that.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, we had some weather just a few weeks ago when it was a little bit crazier. There was literally a 90-degree difference between our high and our low. I mean, it was astronomical. And when you go from the 90-degree difference, your body just doesn't even know how to handle it. And that's with, the heat and air in your car and everything. I can only imagine huffing it through the desert at night.
Yeah.
But that's what my 99-cent space blanket's for, right?
Right.
Warming, that tells you.
In theory, in theory. But here's the answer that nobody came up with that I was gonna say, right? So, me living in the desert and knowing how rough it is on vehicles, I was just gonna say, what I would do? Is I would steal a 2014 car and I would just do 100 miles an hour with the air conditioning through the desert and I wouldn't even think anything different about it. Because the thing is that I'm really going that far. Somebody's getting their car jacked.
How come your go-to answers are either murder or pillage?
Or thievery.
Because he's a marauder.
Oh, we've got a
Yeah.
friend for you.
I was,
And we know what jail he's in right now, too.
Yeah,
nobody thought
Chris
that. Like,
is
just
right-hand man.
get a reliable vehicle, like.
Well, because that's not what your scenario said.
Exactly. We're following your scenario.
The scenario said, how do you avoid it in the first place? That's the last line.
Well, I wouldn't be caught dead in the desert to be.
There we go.
Well, yeah, that too. I mean, that's a kind of reality for me, but I just wanted to see what all you non-desert folk had to say about it. So.
Yeah, we have trees and stuff over this way. But do you have another scenario? We still have about 10 minutes.
I do. Let's see. Well, we just did okay, so this is another one that I came up with. And all these scenarios, granted, are kind of based off of me because,
Because you are the universe. You're
that's
the
how I
center
think.
of our universe.
That's how I think, exactly.
Okay.
So this one, and the reason I wrote this one is we talked about it a while back on one of the shows about antibiotics. So, you come down with a bacterial infection that has been passed around the camp. The group has a supply of antibiotics and is distributing them to the sick members of the group. The problem is that the antibiotic being administered is a penicillin derivative, and you're deathly allergic to all forms of penicillin. True story. So to take the antibiotic means that you'll have a very real chance of death, but to let the infection run its course means you'll definitely have a chance of death. So if you take the antibiotics, swell up with hives and fever and suffer through that, or do you suffer through the infection with either way being possible chance of death?
Jeez, Chris, your life sucks, doesn't it?
It
Oh my
sucks
goodness.
either way. So we had this discussion when you guys were like, just take some fish antibiotics. And I'm like, I can't take fish antibiotics. So the scenario is, you can't take the most widely known form of antibiotics, and you're either going to possibly die by not taking it, or you're going to possibly die by taking it. How do you survive that? How do you get through that? That's
Mom?
the scenario.
Well, my EpiPen and my big bottle of Benadryl.
Boom! Listen to her. Well,
by
it's
the
not that
way,
easy though.
are
It's
they
not.
still- I think they stopped giving away the free EpiPens. Did they not, Mom, at the end of the year?
That was supposed to be at the end of the year, but there was a possibility it could have been extended.
Yeah. You guys Google, if you get a prescription, they'll give you a free EpiPen.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I'll find it real quick.
Mom's on a hunt down.
She's on hand. Yeah, so, like, the EpiPen and the Benadryl thing sounds great in theory, but I couldn't drink, like, when I found out about this allergy, I couldn't drink enough Benadryl, like, by the gallon to make this not make me want to die. So, like, when I say deathly allergic, I mean deathly allergic. And someone in the chat room says there's lots of alternatives of penicillin, which is correct, but like penicillin is the most widely known, or penicillin derivatives are the most widely known antibiotics. And there's not a whole lot of bacterial antibiotics. So like when I get sick with a bacteria thing, there's only like one prescription I can take.
Vodka.
And vodka, yeah. No, I have to take azithromycin usually. And it's harder to come by, I think, and like a shit hit the fan kind of thing.
Yeah, you're not going to find stuff like that.
That's what I'm saying. So that's the thing. So I was looking to Lori, like, is there natural things, tree bark and ginger root that you can rub together to make this bacterial infection not kill me?
There are, but
Stop eating sugar immediately and you may survive.
we stop eating sugar. Windex, damn it.
Okay, if you know that you're deathly allergic to
Strict
penicillin, and also penicillin may be the widest form available for whatever the bacteria is that you have been exposed to, you should be trying to stockpile some alternative form of antibiotic that will
But
probably
that's,
cure
how
it
do you
itself.
stockpile on it though? Like, pretend to be sick and have them write you a script?
Well, you can look at if you want to. I mean, you need to really dose up on vitamins, you need to look at garlic, coconut oil, oregano oil, grapeseed extract, colloidal silver, melaleuca. Things like that are really going to come in handy for you, especially if you're allergic to penicillin. And that's for the rest of us too. If we can't get access to penicillin, I know fish mocks and things like that are going to come in handy if you understand what it is and know where to get it.
Though. That's
right.
the
But you need to get with alternative. I know there are alternative forms, like you said, in the medical world. But
they just gave me Keflex last time, which,
But if you can't,
but it's another one, like Keflex and azithromycin are just, it's those weird.
But if you can't get your hands on that, I
and
know there are websites out there that will teach you how to make that kind of stuff, but it's very, very dangerous. But garlic goes a long way.
Like Walter White kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm not going to push that. You're taking your life into your own hands anyways. You might as well just, suck it up and deal with it.
That's the thing. It's like, how do you even, and that's the thing, is like, do you just treat the symptoms and hope that you don't die from this, bacteria, or?
Well, you can look into essential oils. Essential oils are very good for stuff like that. And they're good. They're okay with your body. Just make sure that you get the correct kind that you can take internally. Because some kinds you cannot do that with. So you need to do your research there. Garlic, coconut oil, oregano oil, colloidal silver. I know, Dawn in the chat room, she's, whipping up her home batch of colloidal silver. It's not that hard to do. Things like that. You really need to get into do some research on a naturopathic way of doing that. You might stand a better chance of not having any. You stand a better chance of using that stuff than nothing at all.
Gotcha. What about you, Lika? You got some tree bark and grass roots that I can rub together?
Or vodka.
Or vodka.
Well, if I was in your situation, I definitely wouldn't take the pill or the penicillin or whatnot. I truly believe in the body's ability to heal itself.
Definitely.
If it wasn't for my job requiring me to take the flu shot, I would avoid it like this. I would avoid it. But as far as I would be looking into more natural remedies.
So you're like the 1800s, just cut yourself and bleed it out kind of thing?
No, not like that. But
Hey, leeches are making a comeback.
There you go. Just bleed the demons out.
no, I would be more into natural stuff. Glutamine, for example, it's widely used in the bodybuilding world, weightlifting, and all the gym rats use it. But it also helps with immune system, boosting up your capabilities on that aspect. And I can swear by it. If I do get sick, and that's a rare occasion, it's minimum 3 days. Or maximum 3 days, sorry. So I playing around with supplements and whatnot, and dandelion root and ginseng and all that other good stuff. It does serve its purpose.
Yes.
You just have to train your body to start relying on that and not going straight for the hardcore drug lab stuff that we've all been trained to rely on for so long.
Yes.
Threw that EpiPen thing in there.
Yeah, Mom with the Prep, thanks for dropping that in the chat room. It's www.epipen.com, and you'll get the information from the website.
Give me one now. Okay.
But, yeah, I would agree with
guys.
Alika. Being able to make your own sauerkraut and fermented foods and things like that to give your gut a good bacteria base to begin with is probably going to go a long way in being able to help you cure the symptoms too. So definitely something you need to look in. Making sauerkraut isn't that hard at all.
Yeah, when's the last time you seen a German person sick? Huh.
I've got sauerkraut making in the crock in my kitchen right now. And even my Puerto Rican husband said, that smells really good. But it's a life culture. You can get that stuff into your gut. You get a better chance of not being sick. Yogurt. Learn how to make your own yogurt so you get that in your system.
Instead of
Get a SCOBY and start making your own tea.
bigger.
SCOBY? What's a SCOBY?
It's a big mass of living ooey gooey probiotics that will make your gut happy.
You guys are a wealth of knowledge.
So we're here for.
Exactly.
Speaking of that we're here for, let's go back in. We've got 3 minutes to go. And while you guys reintroduce yourselves politely to everyone and drop your links into the Facebook site, I'm going to check and see who's on our show next week.
Cool.
So, Chris, you want to start?
I will start.
And big thanks to you, Chris, for writing some of our scenarios here lately. As an author, you're doing a great job with that. Greatly appreciate it.
Well, I'm trying to pick stuff that'll force you guys to come up with great bark and ginger root alternatives too. So it's good info. But yeah, my name's Chris with AEseries.com. The series is Apocalyptic Empire. It's about, surviving the apocalypse. It's viral outbreak, like his initial question was about. I'm not going to say zombies, but it's a couple good books. I'm working on a third. You can check me out at AEseries.com. All the info's there. Links to Amazon. The whole shebang.
Awesome. Thank you. Mom?
Jane, momwiththeprep.com, working with family preparedness and teaching our kids how to survive.
Awesome. Thank you for being here with us tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Alika?
I am with www.shtfready.com. It's a prepping survivalist website, and we help you prep and help others prep and share ideas.
Awesome. Thank you. And JD, you've the last word.
Well, JD stepped out, so you're stuck with me. This is Mark from Survival Logics. I'm JD's business partner, and you can find us at conflictedthegame.com. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you for being here.
All right. Thank you, guys. Good night.
Thanks, guys.